Hey everybody! Guess what? It's Tasty Tuesday. And today I am doing several Tasty Tuesdays ahead of time because I'm going to Hawaii. I hope I'm going to Hawaii. The world is kind of wacko right now, and we still have plans to go to Hawaii, and unless things get canceled, and it's possible, but right now that's our plan. We spent last fall in Hawaii. It was a wonderful place to be, where we could easily social distance, and that's our hope again for this fall. But today, thinking ahead and being hopeful that we're going to the island of Maui, I am going to show you a wonderful cookie. It's kind of a cream cheese cookie, pineapple, coconut, macadamia nuts, very Hawaiian. It's something I've had a couple of different times when I've been to Hawaii. I didn't really know what it was called, so I just looked up a recipe on Pinterest that seems very close to what I remember eating. So I'm going to try making that today, and we'll get started right now. So this Hawaiian pineapple cheesecake, it's kind of like a bar cookie, and we're going to start, the base of it is a shortbread. So we are going to start by, my oven is at 350, and we're going to mix half a cup of melted butter. So that's 1 stick of butter if you're in the United States. To that, we are going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla, a half a teaspoon of salt, and we have a quarter of a cup of sugar. In that goes. I'm going to mix that up. To that, we are adding 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Now, of course, you could do this in your mixer. I'm just doing it by hand today. Now, my shortbread is all mixed nice and smooth, and you can use a cookie sheet for this. My cookie sheets are all kind of large, so I decided I would use this Tefal pan I have, and I've lined it with parchment. You could also use foil. And I'm just going to press this down to all the edges as thin as I can get it. Okay, so that took a little bit of effort. So be prepared for it to take a little effort. Now, I don't see any reason why you couldn't double this recipe if you had a large cookie sheet, because this would not have been enough shortbread dough for my cookie sheet, but it worked pretty well in this pan. So now it goes into 300-degree oven for about 15 minutes, but you want to really watch it because you don't want it to get too brown. It would get too crumbly. So just a very light brown. So stay in the kitchen and watch it for 15 minutes. Now, while our shortbread is baking, we're going to put together the filling. So the filling begins with 1 egg, and 1 cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to mix that up. All right, now we're going to add the rest of the filling ingredients. I have 8 ounces of cream cheese. Woo! This has been sitting on my counter for about a half an hour. And we also have, let's see, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Let's see, half a teaspoon of vanilla. We have 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips. I have a can, an 8-ounce can of crushed pineapple, which I did not drain. that smell like Hawaii? And I have 1/4 cup of chopped macadamia nuts, and I've just done kind of a rough chop on those. All right, let's mix. Ooh, does that smell good? I'm gonna scrape the sides. I think maybe I should have taken the cream cheese out a little bit earlier than I did. So you might think about that. Bring it more to room temperature, but it's gonna be okay. All right, one more time. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left on our shortbread in the oven, and then I'll show you what we do next. I just took the shortbread out of the oven. It was in for 14 minutes, and it's just browned a little bit around the edges. Now our batter, it's a little thinner than I was expecting, but we'll hope for the best. So we are going to pour this batter. I think this is one of the reasons you really want to use the parchment or foil, and make sure you have some extra around all the edges. So we're going to pour our filling batter right on top of our shortbread. And whoops, got a little leak over here. There we go. That's what we want. That's why you want some edges. Get all these chocolate chips and macadamia nuts. We don't want to waste any of those. And I have increased the oven temperature to 350. And now this is going to go in the oven for about 25 minutes. And then we have a topping that goes on it after we take it out of the oven. So I'll come back and show that to you in a minute. Our Hawaiian pineapple cheesecake macadamia nut coconut shortbread cookie is ready to come out of the oven. It was in there for exactly 25 minutes, and it's set up better than I thought it was going to, because that batter was really runny. So right away, while it's still warm, I am putting on the topping. Earlier today, I took 1/4 cup of chopped macadamia nuts and 1/2 cup of coconut, not sugar-free coconut, sugared coconut, and I put it under the broiler for maybe 2 minutes, not very long at all. Now I'm going to spread this all over the top of this bar cookie. And then I'm going to set this aside for several hours. You do not want to cut this when it's too warm. We want it to set up, and then I'll cut it into kind of like, you know, brownie squares. Maybe a little bigger than that. It smells really good. The coconut smells really good. And there we go. So that's what we have so far. See if I can get a hold of it here. It's pretty hot, nice and pretty. And I'll come back after it cools completely, and I cut it. I'll come back and let you know how it tastes. See you then. Look what I made. Hawaiian cream cheese, pineapple, coconut, macadamia nut cookies. Now, honestly, I think they're a little softer than I thought they were gonna be. I almost think they're gonna be better eaten with a fork. But they are, I have my little sample here, super sweet. The shortbread is really, really good. I don't even know if I could eat a whole one of those because they're super sweet. There they are. Taking these to a party tomorrow. And that's our Tasty Tuesday. I hope you try this recipe. See you next week.